Record the audio too, just in case we have some sort of snafu. Okay, so hi guys, it's Daniel. I'm back, and we're talking with Monica McCarthy today, who has a very unique skill set, and I just want to talk to her a little bit about where her mind is and how she creates really good content. She has a website called Show and Tell Stories, right?
That's correct. So it's at showandtellstories.com.
Oh, it's very intuitive, very counterintuitive. So okay, just let's back it up. And I first read your story, kind of about who you are and what you do, and it resonated with me because I'm also an actor, and so but I understand the idea of not necessarily not enjoying acting, but realizing that it can be unfulfilling if you don't have anything else going on, and then you know. Also just if you look at some actors' resumes, like mine is not as big as yours on IMDb or whatever. Not that that matters, but you'll see like yeah, no, I know, me neither. Like half of the stuff that I've done isn't even on there. But you'll look at it and you'll be like, how are these actors eating? Because they're not doing any work. And so for me, I had to start a couple other businesses to keep myself afloat, and then I realized that I enjoyed them. So anyway, let's back it up and talk about who you are, and where you came from, what you do.
Okay. So I'm Monica, and I live here in Brooklyn, New York. I'm initially a Southern California girl. So I did study theater and acting, yes, at Pepperdine, Go Waves. And then I studied abroad over there and worked abroad, and then lived in Japan, did some work there. All this was again was under acting and performing. Came out to New York City. I wasn't really in love with LA. I always knew I wanted to move here. And really for years did the whole bartending by night, auditioning by day, worked myself up, towards getting agents and doing all that, and eventually was able to pay my bills and pay my rent and get my health insurance and all of that through acting. Bits and pieces. People are always like, oh, whenever you say you're an actor, the first question is always like, do I know you from somewhere?
Yeah.
Or, oh, yeah, you look familiar.
Where would I have seen you?
Yeah, I was woman number 5 in this. But it's enough. Enough to get by, and did a little bit of Broadway, and then I just very distinctly remember going for a run in Central Park and just being like, I need some more control over my life. At that point, I was going in for really great things, but it was scary because I couldn't get myself into those auditions, and I was like, every day was this high and low feeling like, if I get this, it could change my life. Because now at that point, it wasn't just going in for a line and two on things. It was going in for the lead in a new,
Yeah.
television show or whatever.
And then you get a call back, and you're like, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just too much highs and lows. And I was just like, I just wanted to be able to have control. And for me, really the sort of nail in the coffin was when I felt like I couldn't plan a trip anywhere. And I love to travel. And since then, I've been traveling a lot. But at that time, I felt like even when I would plan little trips, it was inevitably that's when you get the call back or whatever. So I thought I was done with acting totally, but then once I'm back in it again, I'm back with my agents, but this time I feel like I'm confident in saying, I'm going to India for 2 weeks. I've got a shoot on this day with people, so a lot of it really is about knowing your boundaries. But and through that, I started meeting up with more entrepreneurs and finding out what they needed, and then it was just sort of organic. People were asking me I don't feel with a camera. You're an actor. What should I do? And
Yeah.
Started, and then I realized I wanted to actually help people actually make better videos, and so I found some great cameramen. I have an editor. I even now have some equipment in my apartment. So
Nice.
That was how the more production side of it came to the fore.
Well, one thing I talk about is because Rich 20-something is based on learning how to take your passions and your skills and your hobbies and make them into things that people can consume, right, and use, right? And I think one of the roadblocks is that a lot of times people think that the skills that they've acquired over a long career in something, or even just in their pursuit of a hobby, they think that those skills don't have value. They think that they're like, oh yeah, so I can set up a camera. I know how to cold read. I know how to turn. I know how to set up lights. But who cares? A lot of people need that skill, right? And so when you really start to rack your brain about what am I good at, and also what do people always ask me for, or what do people always ask for advice on, then you can come up with some really unique skill sets that you didn't even think that you had, right?
Absolutely, and it really is that idea of that convergence of yes, I'm passionate about acting. I love acting, but I can't really necessarily control that, right? I can't just put myself on Broadway.
Yeah.
And so it's what do I offer that other people want?
Yeah.
What will they pay me for? How can I be of service to them?
Yeah.
And so then that was exactly it. Just like you said, really listening to what people were asking for, because I really didn't see anything I had as a skill set. Even when I was first starting everything, I was so like, they're just going to want the cameraman. They're not going to care that I'm there helping them behind camera. And instead it was the opposite. What people like kept saying was like, oh my God, I'm so glad you're here. Like, got not boost without you, So I feel like you sometimes just don't even know until you try, until you put it out there and you see what people respond to or not. And I'm still doing that. I'm still trying to figure out what the best scenario is. Like my skill set isn't actually being a producer. Most actors are really terrible at it, right?
Yeah.
We're not that organized. So, in my like big world dreams, I would like just be directing and just being on camera myself, and not necessarily as much of like emails and all of that. So it is fun, but there's.
I'm making a call sheet right now. I don't care about this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot, and you're as and every entrepreneur knows, like you kind of have to start off being good at a gazillion things, and then hopefully, paying attention to what you do well and don't do well, you can sort of like narrow it down as you go.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit an interesting point though, because like there's this double-sided thing. People think that like, especially in your business, well, you promote a lot online. You also have a physical product though. You end up making something physical with physical people. But either way, people think the entrepreneurs just have all this time in the world to sit around and they run their own business, so they call all the shots. But the reality is that you're doing everything from janitor to CEO. So you actually probably have less time than when you just had a strict clock in,
Oh my gosh. I'm like, it's like 7 days a week. It's like nonstop. I think it's honestly, it's a lot of the entrepreneurs that do disservice to fellow entrepreneurs by making it sound like their lives are so perfect.
Oh yeah.
Like you can make $1 gazillion like working from home and not going to bed. And I especially think it's more so the more you actually really like care about your product or service, like the more it's not just like an affiliate link type situation, the more work you're gonna have to do.
Yeah.
Because there's ways that I could be making much more money than I am right now if I was just like, I don't really care about the message, I don't really care about this or that, like I'm just gonna like purely write about, what kind of cameras to use and different like if it wanted to do that, you could, but most entrepreneurs are in it because they also really are passionate about whatever product or service they're promoting. So
well, because I mean, the thing is, like, you don't necessarily have to be passionate about a job that you're working for someone else for, because you go there and you just do the task. But to build something from the ground up takes a lot of not glamorous stuff, to get to the point where you can even like think about supporting yourself. So you really have to love it like the whole way, which is difficult.
Yeah, or at least love some aspect of it. I have this conversation a lot of like, you either are so passionate and love the subject matter, or you love the lifestyle that comes with it.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally, of course, we all want to love both, but I think that, starting with one of those, if you don't love either one, then you're in trouble, because like you said, it is so much more work. So if, even though like I hate, like for me, it's like invoices. I hate invoices. And I think like I'm like owed money because I hate doing invoices.
Same,
But I have to like grow up and step out of it and be like, that's a part of running a business, for now at least.
I need to call someone right now, and I don't want to play bill collector. That's just not what I want to be doing. But
I think as actors, it's really interesting to me, because a lot of people I know actually are actors or artists at some point turned entrepreneur. To me, it makes a lot of sense, right? Because we're used to hustling. We're totally fine with like putting ourselves out there and being like, hey, this is what I do.
Hi. Oh, you don't like me? Oh, it's okay. I got another audition tomorrow.
Yeah. And so, and I think that it's interesting because we don't need, that is a skill.
Yeah.
That maybe some other entrepreneurs aren't used to. If they come from the business background and they're not used to having to really like put themselves out there. Now everybody wants the face behind it, right? That's why the videos are so important, because they want the story, they want the face behind the product and the service. There's so much out there, there's so much information that what people are now buying is you, what they're buying, So, for a lot of people that is really scary. For us, we're like, I don't know.
Well, we'll transition that into exactly what you do at Show and Tell Stories.
Okay, great. So I have the production company side of it. So that is where we can go in and make, like, especially like if you live in the New York City area, it's really easy. We can do introduction videos, which is basically like, just straight talking to cameras, you talking about your product or service. Then we also do what right now I'm calling a mini-me movie, or mini-movies. I'm still working on like the names and everything, and that's more of like a 3-minute sort of like behind the scenes, really show what you do. It's great. Like we've got one that she like makes cookies. If you've got somebody who
I saw that one. It was awesome.
Yeah. So it's great. That's what people are wanting to see, and she actually did like so many sales and get so much attention from that. So that was really wonderful.
It was awesome. Yeah.
Launch videos are a huge thing right now. We did like a 6-part launch series for this woman, that's going to get emailed to people. So that's
right.
Like book trailers, even she's going to do like covering like a conference and getting video footage of that. So it really, with that, it varies. And so then I also wanted to be able to make something, because that's really hard. That's really time intensive, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to be able to have some sort of class that was online for anybody, anywhere, who wanted to be able to do stuff themselves.
Right.
So people are like, I don't have, because video is expensive. It's going to cost you thousands of dollars if you want to hire a crew. Like that's just how it is. So if but there's some people that are fine with shooting on their iPhones, whatever, and that's great. But there's still a lot of questions that they have about that. So that was how then I created this e-course, which is now a new product up front and center, where people can, it's basically the course, put into an instantly downloadable package. And so that's videos of me going through things from, on-camera presence, dealing with nerves, how to interview, to things like how to set up a light, what to look for in your background, what your script should say, how writing a script is different than blog posts, all these things.
Interesting.
That, to me, it's so funny. At the time, I was like, what would I even possibly say about videos?
Exactly.
And you start to listen to the questions, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Or you fall into that trap of like, that kind of like that expert's trap where since you've been doing stuff on camera for so long, you're like, everyone knows this. No, most people don't know this.
Yeah. But no, it's true. And I do fall into it. And that was why the class was so great to do that before I did the actual product, because there was a Facebook group, and so I was answering everybody's questions, and I'll do another class again in the spring, but it was really helpful because I would say certain things and they would be like, wait, what's that? And you're like, oh, of course, duh, I hadn't thought about it. So it's really, I think anytime you can get feedback from your community is really, really powerful, because it will inform, what information you need to put out there.
Yeah.
And then I do have also on the site my blog, which I'm still even figuring out what it is, but I know what it isn't, and it's not, it isn't how to do video, right? That's like the products, or when if I do a guest post, I do that. But I'm still like, I also minored in like philosophy and religion, and I'm always like, questioning why, and I love storytelling from any point of view. For me, it really isn't about video, right?
Yeah.
Like I really don't.
The video is the medium to tell the story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what I intend to write about more and hope to explore more in the future as well. But I think it is important to have sort of like that world view and that specific way that people can achieve that for themselves. So at least that's what I'm finding right now.
No, I mean, I think you hit on something really, really big there that really kind of resonated with me when you're talking about it's not really about the video, because most things that we sell or promote or we're passionate about, there's like some underlying cause. Like my product talks about teaching people in the young gap, like the 19 to 29 gap, how to take their ideas and turn them into products. But really, we all like products, and that's great, but we're all about, a lot of us are seeing our parents, and we don't want to end up working the jobs that they worked, or we're seeing that we don't necessarily want to jump into this corporate thing because we already know we're going to be unhappy before we even start the job, and so the motivation behind creating an online product is living a better life, So it's not about the product; it's about the life
and freedom. I mean, really, that's what being able to have your product means. And this was the first time that I've sort of like dived into it, and I was in Belize last week and getting the PayPal notifications.
It's pretty sweet, isn't it?
Like, woohoo! I mean, granted, it's like not all the time. Obviously, you have to like keep coming up with things, and so and that's sort of whole like also having lots of followers and everything like helps with that. But it was like it really was empowering. It really was amazing to feel like it's freezing in New York. I'm here on a beach in Belize, and I'm offering something that people want. Like that's awesome.
Oh, you're doing the entrepreneur lifestyle thing. It's so easy, and in 6 weeks, I made $1 million. Yeah, no, I totally get you. I totally get you.
So I think that's really what I'm curious to see is will there be like a backlash at some point? Like at some point, everybody wants freedom, right? Nobody's wanting to like be the pencil pusher. Nobody's wanting to be behind the desk. I mean, and I'm not saying that a lot of people do still want to have bosses and things like that. But I'm kind of curious to see what happens once more and more people start to figure out, like,
You
it
know,
doesn't have to be so bad.
I know then I won't get to have all the special treatment. No, I know what you're talking about. But I thought about that too, and I came to the conclusion that you still, again, you're falling into that expert's trap of, I'm an actor, so I already have the hustler mindset. There are some people who I could talk to about this, like, no, I just want to clock in. It's just,
Yeah, that's true.
the entrepreneurial mindset is very unique,
Yeah.
Um,
People do want that security. And again, as actors, I forget, like, we're used to not having it.
Yeah.
It's like ingrained. Like, you're not going to know where your next paycheck is from.
Exactly.
That's cool,
You have,
and for a lot of people that wouldn't be.
yeah, you have to be really cool with that, because I was just talking to one of my friends who's a pharmacist, and like he's a pharmacist at Walmart, and he's like 24, so he has a doctorate now, and he's making good money. Like, it's like $100,000+ a year, and he's kind of unhappy, and on the one end, like, he's making a ton of money, for being 24 years old, but he's unhappy, and but you have to be willing to take risks to get out of a situation like that, But yeah, don't worry about too many entrepreneurs rising up. You'll be fine. One thing that I want to talk about is, like, kind of with my videos, like when I shoot a video, I've seen some people that are like in my similar market of like teaching online products, and one thing I don't like is that they have like these like really fancy like your videos are great. I love the cookie video, and I think that works for that product. But like for my product, I've seen a lot of people who are in my similar niche who are like, here's me, and I'm like in my suit, and yeah, I got my cool like laser pointer, and I just think that stuff is fake. So like sometimes I'll just open up my MacBook camera and I'll just be like, here, I'm talking to you, this is what I'm doing, this, and that. So do different videos fit different markets and styles?
Absolutely. I mean, even in the course that I do, I shoot it on my iPhone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, what people want is the information, plain and simple. And that's what people forget with video, is that more, its content is king. Like, that's what matters, The flash and everything, like, it's not a Nike commercial. Like, you don't need that. So if you are doing something if you're offering information, like you're talking about, like you're being a teacher, then it doesn't matter. When things like for example, like that cookie video, that's an expensive video.
Yeah.
That had a team, that had...
Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, expensive cameras, the lighting, the sound, you name it. Because with that, you're talking about a product where the aesthetic really matters.
Right.
If you're somebody who's telling people, there's some examples out there, I don't want to say names, but if you're like, my site is how to get rich and live large and daddy style, your video has to reflect that you're living like, you know what I'm saying? But if you're like, hey, this is what it's like to really, become an entrepreneur in your 20s, great. Like, show you on your MacBook and your couch.
Yeah, they expect me to be in a hoodie, probably. I don't know.
Whatever it is. But it doesn't, there are times when it does matter, where you do need to go pro, and there are times when it absolutely doesn't.
Yeah.
And especially now with technology, like I said, like the iPhones, for example, like that's HD. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what it's going to be like a year from now.
Oh, yeah. I have an iPhone 4. I don't even have the 5 yet. And the 4, like, shoots such great video. I'm walking outside. Like, sometimes I'll get an idea. I'll shoot a video right while I'm walking. Like, okay, this, and that. And I just want to shoot a quick video. And I look at it, the resolution, I'm like, this is really nice.
Yeah. Well, the thing is also that people don't realize is, so there's such a huge gap between going from something like an iPhone or your Mac, whatever, to editing on a DSLR.
Yeah.
Or shooting on DSLR. Because then at that point, you really then need the body mic. And your body mic, you need the recorder. And then you need to be able to sync sound. And then, I don't even know if you can do it on iMovie or not, but, then if you're a lot of class about editing,
yeah.
They're like, oh, I really want to be able to, like, edit on, like, Final Cut Pro or Avid. And I'm like, good luck. Basically, it's like saying, hey, I shoot photos and I post them on Instagram with my phone versus I'm going to, I want to become like a National Geographic style.
Yeah.
It's more complicated because video is even more complicated than regular photography. So it's just like I really try and hone that in with people. And a lot of people don't even realize they'll see like a simple, like I'll just go ahead and say an example, like Marie Forleo, her videos, a lot of people are really familiar with her. And they think, oh, that would be easy to do. It's just a white background. What's so hard about that?
No.
Oh my gosh. No, that is a professional crew. That takes, like, there's at least 3 lights, if not more.
But
more
that's,
anyways.
that because that's where you're coming from. Yeah.
Exactly. and so what I'm just now learning is that part of it is explaining to people what really is involved, even in very simple looking videos, you know, and what can be done and can't. A lot of people think you can just fix every problem in post, you know.
No.
You can't. So, anyways, I'm so passionate about like that whole topic of like, you know, how involved to get in investing in fancy equipment and all of that. And that's why actually even in the course I offer like a resource guide of like, you know, here's the beginner level camera versus intermediate versus advanced, you know, his sound, all of that, what you need. But I definitely encourage people, especially when they're starting, to focus on, you know, shooting on a Mac or shooting on an iPhone and really getting themselves comfortable first and foremost before they even think about investing in other stuff.
Do you shoot on like I've shot some films on, you know, like 5Ds and other types of. I love Canon. They shoot really well. What do you shoot on primarily for your good stuff?
Well, you mean when I'm doing like when I'm working with like my production company and it's like somebody's paying me to do an actual shoot for them?
Yeah.
So that varies. I mean, the Canon 5D is a great camera. That's probably used the most. We have a Sony actual video camera, Mark 7. Lots, you know, mostly in that range. Again, it depends on what the product is, but.
Well, you know, I don't want to get too technical because people won't care about that, but it's just funny. I have a friend who was shooting basically like an infomercial type, you know, introduction to the product, and they rented out a Red to shoot on it, and I'm like, why would you? Doesn't make sense, right?
Well, people want the best of the best.
Yeah, but.
Hear that something, you know, is, but I don't.
Red's only cameras are only as good as the operator and the lighting.
Exactly.
You know, I can get I've directed things and I've acted things and produced things, but I'm not a DP. I'm not a cinematographer, so I can know when something looks good and I can direct an editor to fix it, or I can direct a DP to fix it. But I'm not necessarily a professional camera technician. So yeah.
That's why that was one of the things that when people would first ask me about, "Ooh, can you do these videos?" I was like, I can't. And then finally it occurred to me, well, there are people. I'm in New York. Like there are people that can. So why don't I? And it's good to know. Like I'm still trying to learn more and more because obviously good directors know about what kind of lens use and all of that.
Yeah.
But you know, again, stick to your expertise. And something with video, like, you know, anybody who's been on a film set. I mean, there's a gazillion people on that set.
Yeah.
Everybody has a very specific job, and so I feel like right now the danger, it's like both good and bad. That we can kind of do everything ourselves, but it's also bad because we overstretch ourselves, and we think like, yeah, I'm gonna be able to be the DP and the editor and the talent and all of that in one. Which again, you can if you're shooting. If you really like simplify it, like. Don't make the technology complicated.
Yeah.
Have really good content and simple technology, you know.
So I guess part of what you're saying is, you know, extend yourself to the max of your abilities, but also be able to communicate really well with people who you can collaborate with. There's a lot of collaboration that goes on here. You know, even look at your website, look at Show and Tell Stories. You know, and I'm sure there was someone that either helped you or gave you advice for the website, putting it together. Someone who helped you with the videos. There's a lot of different people in pieces that go into making something, even if you present it as yours. You know.
Yeah, definitely. And for me, that was like a huge learning curve. I got very lucky. You know, the woman who redesigned my site for me, we're now good friends, and so you know, I got an incredible rate on it, and I recommend her to like everybody. Because I was spending so much of my time trying to figure out widgets. I'm like the least technical.
What is this widget?
I'm in video. I'm terrible. And there are still so many things with, you know, I don't know Photoshop. I'm like fixing things in PicMonkey, you know.
Yeah.
Going forward, like I definitely need more help, and I know that. And it's like, and it's so funny because every time I get frustrated, I think about what I say to my students about video.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, if you want that look, then you're gonna have to invest in it. You're gonna have to find something. So it's sort of like that thing that I think as entrepreneurs we keep needing to remind ourselves. And even like, you know, like I'm not a great copywriter. I enjoy writing. I'm terrible at sales, like terrible. So you know, at some point, I really need to look into that and find help with that. You know, I think that's huge. That's part of entrepreneurship. Like you're gonna be great at some things, and you're gonna suck balls. Excuse my language at other things.
Yep. No, I totally agree. It's funny too because I think that what you said about writing copy, a lot of people, entrepreneurs or as people maybe coming that weren't originally business minded and are changing their perspective. There's almost like this guilty feeling of like, well, I don't want to be too salesy, but the reality is that there's a certain way that people respond when you speak to them. When you speak to them, and that can determine whether they value your product a certain way. You can say, "Hey, I create really cool videos," and they'd be like, "Cool, see you later." You have to be able to talk to them. You have to be able to talk to them in a way where you're communicating. I have a lot of value, and I can give it to you, and you need this. Otherwise,
like I'm comfortable with that saying it on camera in a way that I feel like is true to me and authentic. But when it comes to writing it, on like a blog post.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think we all have our different ways that we're comfortable communicating. I'm much more of a verbal communicator. You asked me before we started this video. I had the choice of doing just audio or video. Somebody else wrote me and I chose video because I like the face to face.
Yeah.
Somebody actually just wrote me right before this interview and was like, "I'd love to have you, talk to our community. Would you rather do a video or an interview or a guest post?" And I'm like, "Oh, interview would be great. I'd love, again, it's an interaction." Some people, no way. They'd way rather do the guest post any day.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm intrigued also with a lot of people that are like, I really need video. They like really don't actually like video. Like, make sure that you like.
Yeah.
You're not just doing it because you think you're supposed to. And I think everybody can be good on camera. I really do firmly believe that. But you also have to like enjoy it to a certain degree.
And it will come across in your face if you're not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll be like, "Hello, welcome to Show and Tell Story."
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, if you really want it, you can coach you out of that. But if you are like, if it's like me and invoices, good luck.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be like torture every step of the way.
And it also depends on what your product is too. For Show and Tell Stories, video is absolutely essential. If you were doing stuff on the stock market, maybe a podcast would be fine. It just depends. It just depends.
And everybody's like, I don't as much listen to things if there's not an image, but a lot of people really do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why it's also good to try to experiment and to put yourself out there in as many ways as you can and try and reach as many people as you can, and also discover what you really like drive with the most and go from there. But it really is freeing, honestly, to feel comfortable doing interviews like this because you're like, whatever, people want an interview, great, do it. Like,
yeah. And it's
part
of getting yourself out there too.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, cool. Well, Monica, just tell us a little bit about. Okay, so people they're now fully convinced that they need awesome video. How do they get in contact with you?
Well, there's a contact page on my website, so showandtellstories.com, and I believe it's like /contact. I'm really great at responding to emails, and then I'm also on Twitter. I'm like really open on there, and that's at McCarthy, so MISSMMCCARTHY.
Don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a Facebook page that I started recently, so that's Show and Tell Stories on there as well. So
awesome.
I'm, as you can see, I like communication, so people will hit me, they'll hear back.
Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on, and you're going to make a wonderful addition to our talented wall of experts.
Woo! I'm so excited. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Let me